Unity, unity. Family, family, family. Peace, 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 peace. Love, 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 love. Unity, 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 unity. Community, 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 community. Family, 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 family. What's up, y'all? Today is December 26th, 2024, 4:13 a.m. I am a millionaire funeral director whose check is waiting to be deposited. If I can, I must. When I win, I win. When I lose, I win. Failure is not an option. I'm going to set myself up for success. I will take action in my life now. I will participate at a level 10 at all times. I will always be on time in my life. I will always do as I said I would. I will build the right relationships with the right power team. I will empower myself to succeed. I am a millionaire funeral director whose check is waiting to be deposited. If I can, I must. When I win, I win. When I lose, I win. Failure is not an option. I'm going to set myself up for success. I will take action in my life now. I will participate at a level 10 at all times. I will always be on time in my life. I will always do as I said I would. I will build the right relationships with the right power team. I will empower myself to succeed. I am a millionaire funeral director whose check is deposited. If I can, I must. When I win, I win. When I lose, I win. Failure is not an option. I'm going to set myself up for success. I will take action in my life now. I will participate at a level 10 at all times. I will always be on time in my life. I will always do as I said I would. I will build the right relationships with the right power team. I will empower myself to succeed. So today's book, I'll be reading out of the Kobe Bryant, The Mamba Mentality, How I Play. We stopped on Byron Scott. Byron Scott. We used to sit next to each other on the bus. During my rookie season, Brian and I would talk a lot. He would share veteran stories with me, tell me about Magic, Kareem, and series they played together. He shared a lot of historical knowledge with me. He also gave me the lowdown on how to cover certain shooting guards. Specifically, he worked with me on how to chase players around screens and the other tactical elements of the NBA defense. Aside from that, Brown schooled me on time management, how to make the most of each and every day. When Brown came back to the Lakers, it was the last years of my career. We were like brothers. We picked up our conversation and relationship right where we had left off. Surface to say, it was great to have him back on the same sideline. A good coach of the is the is of the utmost importance. Coaches are teachers. Some coaches, lesser coaches, try to tell you things. Lesser coaches try telling you things. Good coaches, however, teach you how to think and arm you with the fundamental tools necessary to execute properly. Simply put, good coaches make sure you know how to use both hands, how to make proper reads, how to understand the game. Good coaches tell you where the fish are. Great coaches teach you how to find them. That's the same at every level. In certain situations, like in the midst of the game, good coaches rely on executional information. They point out what specifically is and isn't working. Based on that, and your own feel for the game, you utilize some of the information immediately, and you say some of it in your back pocket for crucial moments during the game. Then, when this time is right, boom. Phil Jackson was more than just a coach; he was a visionary. Whereas his assistant coach Tex Winter was all about the minute, see the following page, Phil was about the scale. He taught concepts within basketball, but more so the macro concept of basketball. He was able to teach without lecturing the importance of being a team and how to get from point A to point B to point championship. He was also able to get guys to understand energy, flow, and meditation. We had a great relationship and obviously won a lot of games and made purple and gold history together. One of the reasons our relationship worked is because, in a lot of ways, we were polar opposites. Every team needs either a confrontational star, player, or coach. In San Antonio, Greg Popovich was that guy, and Tim Duncan was not. In Golden State, Draymond Green is the confrontational one. Steve Kerr is not. For us, Phil was not the type of person, so I provided that force. You always have to have that balance and counterbalance, and Phil and I were perfectly suited for each other in that way. However, it took us into our second stint together to realize how we were perfectly suited for one another. During our first go together, Phil thought I was uncoachable. He thought I questioned his authority and questioned his plan. He thought I didn't listen. When he came back, he realized that he was just being that was just being me. He realized that I was just very inquisitive and unafraid to ask questions. He realized that's how I process information and learn. Once he put his pause on that, he was more patient with me. He was more willing to sit and answer my many questions and talk everything through. Now, I coach my daughter's team, and we run the triangle offense. Recently, I called Phil and filled him in on what I was teaching the girls. He was surprised how much I learned from him. More than that, he was surprised how much detail I retained and was not passing it down. Tex Winter was a basketball genius. I learned a incalculable amount from him. Tex specifically taught the process of the game. He taught the pure craft of it. He focused on the details, flow, and nuances of the game. He was able to bring the little details to life and show their ultimate importance. He was also exceedingly patient. In our first year together in LA, he and I would rewatch every single game together. Preseason, regular season, playoffs. That's a lot of basketball. That's a lot of detail, teaching, and patience. That Tex, he had a great mind and a great mind for basketball. Coaches like him are rare, and I'm blessed I got the chance to study with him. I always said Luke Walton was destined to be a coach. Luke was a very smart player. He also had certain coaching traits. A bad back, like Phil. He used to have a hippie lineage. I used to tell him All I used to tell him all the time. He didn't find it as funny as I did. For real though, Luke had a great feel for the game. He understood how to look at it in a sequence versus looking at one play at a time. He was able to communicate very clearly. When I looked at the agglomeration of those things, I could see how I could see he was going to be I could see how he was going to be a really good coach. Teed up. I used to get my fair share of technical fouls. Still, I had a great relationship with the majority of the referees. That's due in large part of mutual respect we have for one another. I always make sure to talk to them, build a dialogue and rapport. That way, if I talked back or pointed something out, it often held weight with them. At that least, it was better than if I spoke to them when I was complaining. During my last season, it was some awesome going around the league and seeing each official for the last time. We would talk, laugh about old times, and share memories. I have a lot of admiration for those men and women. Refs have a difficult job. They are not just responsible for observing and monitoring the action in front of them at a fast pace, they are also responsible for bearing the brunt of the motions of the game that tend to boil over. On top of that, they are not robots, so they also have to be aware of their own emotion and try to remain objective. It's a tough job. If refs makes a mistake, they will get lambasted. If if they do a great job, no one mentions them. I always try to keep that in mind and treat them like like the treat them like the real, unappreciated, emotional humans that they are. I think that always worked to my benefits. Reading is fundamental. I made a point of reading the referee handbook. One of the rules. I'm about to look that up. Um, One of the rules I gleaned from it was each referee has a designated slot where he is supposed to be on the floor. If the ball, for instance, is in place W, referees X, Y, and Z each have an area on the court assigned to them. When they do that, it creates a dead zone, areas on the floor where they can't see certain things. I learned what those zones were. I took advantage of them. I would get away with holds, travels, and all sorts of minor violations because I took the time to understand the officials' limitations. Playing through pain. Playing through pain. This was right after I hurt my finger on December 11th, 2009. Okay, playing through pain. Playing through pain. This was right after I hurt my finger on December 11, 2009. Gary was assessing, trying to gauge how bad it was. Pretty much right away, he went back into the bowels of the arena, had it x-rayed, and Gary told me it was fractured. I said, all right, cool. Now get me back out there. Gary looked at me like I was crazy. I asked him, is it going to get better? He said, no. I said, exactly. There's nothing we can do about it now, and it can't get worse. So tape it up and let's go. From that point forward, we would apply a splint, which was like a hard cast at the bottom and the top portion of my finger. Then we would wrap it over again with a spongy elastic tape. The ball will physically still hurt. The ball will physically still hurt when they hit my finger, but mentally, I knew I had the protection, absorbing some of the pain. I could play through the rest. We did that literally every time out on the court. Shoot around practice game, every time out. I had to change, I had to change, I had to change my shooting form. I had to change my shooting form. After I injured my right index finger, 2009-2010 season, I knew my usual method would no longer work. Up until then, I always shot off my first two fingers. After I heard it, I had to start focusing on my middle finger. The, the middle because of my point of release. And I had to sort of let my index finger drift. Making that change took a couple of practice. Making that change took a couple of practices. Not average practices, though. Days flooded with mental and physical work. I had mental download the software that was the new form, and then drill it in. I definitely got one of the thousand makes in one of. I definitely got my 1,000 makes in on each of those days. People ask me if the change impacted my shot, if I made me a better or worse shooter. I can't answer that. I can say that there are times when my index finger just went numb, when it had no feeling at all. I can also say that was still good enough to win another championship, and that's the only thing that matters. I tore my Achilles. This was April 12, 2013. We had just 3 minutes to go in a game with the Warriors. I realized right away that it was torn. First, I felt it, and then I looked down and saw it curling up on my back leg. Still, I tried to walk on it, tried to figure out how to play around it. It became evident fast, though that I should take the free throws and get the hell out of here. The Achilles injury was my personal Mount Everest. Right after I sustained my injury in 2013, I was walking off the court. I just looked at my wife and shook my head. She could immediately tell it was very serious. I went straight to the training table in the locker room. Gary Venti was there. So it was Patrick Soon Shahung, a surgeon and minority owner of the team, and who today owns the Los Angeles Times. We started speaking, and Patrick said, "There's a new procedure, and it looks very promising, but but it operates on the premises that you can't let scar tissue settle in. It means you would need to go and have the operation tomorrow." I said, "Let's do it." It was as simple as that. We started game planning for surgery the next morning. Right after, right next morning, right there and then. Shortly thereafter, my family came in and I walked with them. We cried about it and I answered all my kids' questions. I showed them that Daddy was going to be fine. I remember sometime after that, showering with crutches and being careful not to slip. I talked to the media and I had surgery the next very day. Before the Achilles injury, I was thinking about my career arc. I could feel my body wearing out, and I knew I was on the clock. When the Achilles injury happened, I treated it as a new challenge. People were saying I might not be able to come back, but I knew I was going to let it beat me. I was not going to let any injury dictate my retirement. I was going to dictate my retirement. That's when I decided I had to climb that mountain. All right. Then next, we stopped. I took the design of my Nikes very seriously. Page 76. All right. The next book I'll be reading is the Holy Quran with the English translation and commentary, the Malani Muhammad Ali version. Um, Before I go into that, I just ask that this video go from 1 share to 10 shares, 10 shares to 100 shares, 100 shares to 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares to 10,000 shares, 10,000 shares to 100,000 shares, 100,000 shares, y'all know the rest, to 1,000,000 shares. And it all starts with you. So go ahead and hit the share button, the like button, the heart button. Also go on YouTube and go out and check out my wife. She's crushing it, y'all. Dion's Life, DIONNE apostrophe S, Life on YouTube. Since I'm on a computer, I had to switch up the office space today because technical difficulties, but that's okay. Life on YouTube. So go on YouTube and go ahead and support Dion's Life. Remember, random page, random chapter. It's chapter 12, Joseph. Section 1, Joseph Vision. Oh shoot, I've come on my team. Excuse me, y'all, I'll be right back. Make sure y'all drink y'all teas, y'all waters. My baby in there resting, you know. She's on vacation. I gotta get on vacation one of these days. I'll go on vacation one of these days. What was that? Oh, yeah, drink your teas. I got my tea right here now. Still shout out to my baby. This tea gonna be fire. I got cranberry juice, all real cranberries, pressed down, shaking them up. Freshly good, pressed cranberry juice. Make sure you gotta drink our water too. All right. Okay. Section 1. Joseph vision. Excuse me. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful. Allah, am the seer. These are the verses of the book that makes manifest. Surely we have revealed it, an Arabic Quran, that you may understand. We narrate to thee the best of narratives, in that we have revealed to thee this Quran. Through before this, thou wast of those unaware. When Joseph said to his father, "O my father, I saw 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them making obedience to me." He said, "O my son, relate not thy dream to thy brethren, lest thou devise a plan against thee. The devil indeed is an open enemy to man, and thus the Lord choose thee and teach thee the interpretation of sayings, and make his favor complete to thee and the children of Jacob, as he made the complete before thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, surely known the Lord is known wise." Section 2. Plot against Joseph by his brothers. Verily in Joseph and his brethren there are signs for the inquirers. When they said, "Surely Joseph and his brothers are dearer to our father than we, though we are strong company, surely our father is in manifest error. Slay Joseph or banish him to some other land, so that your father regard may be exclusively for you, and after you may be righteous people." A speaker among them said, "Slay." One second, y'all. A speaker among them said, "Slay not Joseph, but if you are going to do anything, cast him down to the bottom of the well. Some of the travelers may pick him up." They said, "O our father, why doest thou not trust us with Joseph? And surely we are his sincere well-wishers. Send him with us tomorrow, that he may enjoy himself and play, and we shall surely guard him well." He said, "Indeed, it grieves me that you should take him away, and I fear lest the wolf devour him, while you heedless of him." They said, "If the wolf should devour him, while we are strong company, we should then certainly be losers." So when they took him away and agreed to put him down at the bottom of the pit, we revealed to him, thou wilt certainly inform them of his affair of theirs while they perceived not. And they came to their father at nightfall, weeping. They said, O our father, we went off racing one with another, and left Joseph by our goods, so the wolf devoured him. And thou wilt not believe us, though we are truthful. And they came with false blood on his shirt. He said, Nay, your souls have made a light for you. So patient is goodly, and Allah is he whose help is sought against that you describe. And there came travelers, and they sent their water drawer, and he let down his bucket. He said, O good news, this is a youth. And they concealed him as an article of merchandise, and Allah was cognizant of what they did. And they sold him for a small price, a few pieces of silver. They showed no desire for him. Section 3. Joseph's firmness under temptation. And the Egyptian who bought him said to his wife, Make his stay honorable. May he will be useful to us, or may adopt him as a son. And thus we established Joseph in the land, and that we might teach him interpretations of sayings. And Allah has full control over his affair, but most people know not. And when he attained his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, and thus do we reward the doers of good. And she in whose house he was sought to seduce him. He made fast the doors and said, Come. He said, Allah forbid. Surely my Lord made good my abode. The wrongdoers never prosper. And certainly she desired him, and he would have desired her, were it not that he had seen the manifest evidence of the Lord. Thus it was that he might turn away from him evil and indecency. Surely he was one of our chosen servants. And they raced with one another to the door, and she rent his shirt from behind. And they met her husband at the door. She said, Give me 1 second. There you go. There you go. Give me 1 second, y'all. That's Curtis one. Come inside the house now. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, you back? Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Mm. Okay, 23. Nope, 22. And when he attained his maturity, we gave him wisdom and knowledge, and thus do we reward the doers of good. And she is whose house he was, sought to seduce him, and made the doors and said, Come. He said, Allah forbid. Surely my Lord made good my abode, the wrongdoers never prosper. And surely she desired him and would have desired her, were it not that he had seen the manifest evidence of his Lord. Thus it was that we might turn away from him evil and indecency. Surely he was one of our chosen servants. And they raced with one another at the door, and she went and she rent his shirt from behind, and they met her husband at the door. She said, What is the punishment for one who intends evil to thy wife, except imprisonment or a painful chastisement? He said, She sought to seduce me, and a witness of her own family bore witness. If his shirt is rent in front, she speaks the truth, and he is of liars. And if his shirt is rent behind, and she tells a lie, and he is of the truth. So when he saw his shirt rent behind, he said, Surely it is a device of you woman. Your device is indeed great. O Joseph, turn aside from this, and O my wife, ask forgiveness for thy sin. Surely thou art one of the sinful. Section 4. Joseph imprisoned. And woman in the city said, The chief wife seeks to seduce her slave. He has indeed affected her deeply with his love. Truly we see her in manifest error. So when she heard of their device, so when she heard of their device, she sent for them and prepared for the repast, and gave each of them a knife, and said to Joseph, Come out to them. So when they saw him, they deemed him great, and cut their hands in amazement. And he said, Holy Allah, this is not a mortal, this is but a noble angel. She said, This is he, about whom you blame me. And surely I sought to seduce him, but he was firm in countenance. And if he do not what I bid him, he shall surely be in prison, and he shall surely be of the objective. He said, My Lord, the prison is dearer to me, and that which they invited me. And if thou turn away thy device from me, I shall yearn towards them and be of the ignorant. So his Lord accepted his prayer and turned away their device from him. Surely he is the hearer, the knower. Then it occurred to them after they had seen the signs that they should imprison him till a time. Section 5. Joseph preaching in the prison. And two youths entered the prison with him. One of them said, I saw myself pressing wine, and the other said, I saw myself carrying bread on my head, of which birds were eaten. Inform us of the interpretation. Surely we see thee to be of thee doers of good. He said, the food with which you are fed shall not come to you, but I shall inform you of his interpretation before it comes to you. This is of what my Lord has taught me. Surely I have forsaken the religion of a people who believe not in Allah and are deniers of the hereafter. And I follow the religion of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. It, it beseems us not to associate aught with Allah. This is by Allah's grace upon us and on mankind. But most people give not thanks. One Oh, my two fellow prisoners, are sundry our lords better, or Allah the one, the supreme? You serve not besides him, but names which you have named, you and your fathers. Allah has sent down no authority for them. Judgment is only Allah's. He has commanded that you serve none but him. This is the right religion, but most people know not. Oh, my two fellow prisoners, as for one of you, he will serve wine for his Lord to drink, and for the other, he will be crucified, so that the birds will eat from his head. The matter is decreed concerning which you are inquired. And he said to him, whom he knew would be delivered of the two, remember with thy Lord. But the devil caused him to forget mentioning to his Lord. So he remained in the prison a few years. Section 6. The king's vision interpreted by Joseph. And the king said, I have seen seven fat kings, which seven lean ones devoured, and seven green ears, and seven other dry. O chief, explain to me my dream, if you can interpret the dream. They said, confused dreams, and we know not the interpretation of dreams. And of the two, he who had found deliverance and remembered after a long time said, I will inform you of an interpretation, so send me. Joseph, O truthful one, explain to us seven fat king, Kine, which seven lean ones devoured, and seven green ears, and seven others dry, that I may go back to the people, so that they may know. He said, you shall sow for 7 years, as usual, then that which you reap, leave it in its ear, except a little which you eat. Then after that will come 7 years of hardship, which will eat away all of your all you have beforehand stored for them, except a little which you have preserved. Then after that will come a year in which people will have rain, and in which they will press grapes. Section 7. Joseph cleared of all of the charges. And the king said, bring him to me. So when the messenger came to him, he said, go back to the Lord and ask him, what is the case of that woman who cut their heads? Who cut their hands? Surely my Lord knows their device. The king said, was your affair when you sought to seduce Joseph? They said, holy Allah, We knew no evil of his part. The chief's wife said, Now, now has the truth become manifest? I sought to seduce him, and surely of the truthful. This is that he might know that I have not been unfaithful to him in secret, and that Allah guides not the device of the unfaithful. That was from the Holy Quran with the English translation commentary, the Malani Muhammad Ali version. And since I'm in my wife's office, let's see. Okay. I can read this. Which one should I read? I can read this one. Let me see how much time I got. A few more minutes, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just read this. Read this tomorrow. So this one is Discover Islam, the Muslim Woman. If y'all just checking in, tapping in, please hit the share button, the like button, the heart button. We taking this video from 1 share to 10 shares, 10 shares to 100 shares, 100 shares to 1,000 shares, 1,000 shares to 10,000 shares, 10,000 shares to 100,000 shares, and y'all know the rest. 100,000 shares to 1,000,000 shares. Excuse me, and it all starts with you. So go ahead and hit the share button, like button. Go to YouTube as well. Tru Hicks on YouTube. Dion's Life on YouTube as well. Go ahead and send them hearts, emojis, whatever y'all want to do. Let's get back into this last reading for the day, and I'll check out tomorrow, inshallah. Discover Islam, the Muslim Woman. From a tiny drop that becomes an embryo, the girl child is born to be an honored part of God's plan. God states in the Muslim holy book, the Quran, O humankind, be conscious of your Lord who created you from a single soul, and out of it created a mate, and out of two spread countless man and woman. Be conscious of God through whom you demand your mutual rights and honor thy wombs. Surely God always watches over you. Quran 4:1. The first woman, according to the Quran, there was a Garden of Eden. There was a forbidden tree, but no apple, no snake, and certainly no fault on Eve alone. Both Adam and Eve sinned at the same time. They felt shame, repented, and were forgiven together. God provided them with the guidance, showing them a way back to Him. Each soul earns on its own account. and no bearer of burden shall bear the burden of another. Quran 6:164. If any deeds of righteousness, whether male or female, and have faith, they would enter paradise, and not the least injustice would be done to them. Quran 4:124. The sole purpose and existence of both woman and man is to worship God through faith and good deeds, fulfilling their role as God's honorable trustees and witnesses on earth. Are are woman and man equal? Yes, definitely. Islam teaches equality between man and woman. However, in some Muslim countries and societies, a patriarchal culture dominates, and women are denied their God-given rights. Nowhere does the Quran state that one gender is superior to another. God makes it clear that only criteria for superiority are piety and righteousness. Virtues only He can judge. O humankind, we created you from a male and female, and made you into nations and tribes, so that you may come to know one another. Truly, the most honor of you in God's sight, and the greatest of you in piety. God is all knowing, all aware. Quran 49:13. Islam recognizes women as individuals with specific rights. Among these are the right to life, the right to learn, the right to earn, own and dispose of property, the right of choose a husband, the right to a marriage gift, the right to retain her maiden name, the right as a wife to her pre-marriage standard of living, the right to seek divorce, the right to inherit, and the right to a final will. Women, like men, are rewarded by God for a righteous led life. Does Islam woman does Islam woman to be public and political? Most certainly. Islam not only promotes but charges women and men with the responsibility of using their minds for good, preventing evil as God's trustees on earth. The believing man and the believing woman are protectors one of another. They enjoy good and forbid evil. They establish regular prayers, practice consistent charity, and they obey God and His messenger. On them, on them will God pour His mercy, for God is the powerful, the wise. Quran 9:71. Several Quranic verses chronicle female thinkers and doers, such as Mary, the mother of Jesus, Bilquis, the queen of Sheba, who ruled justly and believed in the one God, and Asia, the Pharaoh's wife, who saved Prophet Moses. History, t- history also tells of History also tells of many great women, such as Aisha, the wise teacher and philosopher wife of the Prophet, who taught people daily for over 50 years, and Zubaydah, the famous builder of an adequate system of for pilgrims. And among his signs is that he created you for mates from among yourselves, that you may live in tranquility with them, and he has brought between you love and mercy. Truly, in this are signs for those who reflect. Quran 30:21. In the first Islamic state in Medina, Prophet Muhammad asked women to individually pledge loyalty, one person, one vote, to Islam and to his leadership. Were expected then, and they are expected now, to assume their rightful role in society as equal partners. Muslim women today work for the public good as activists, artists, entrepreneurs, leaders, scholars, scientists, social workers, and teachers. Muslim women excel in all fields, not in spite of not in spite of their religious convictions, but because of them. Marriage, wives, and husbands. I think I would say that one. Yeah, I'll say this one first. And we have enjoined upon man to be good to his parents, with difficult upon difficult, did his mother bear him and wean him for 2 years. Show gratitude to me and to your parents, and me is your final goal. Quran 31:14. Marriage, wives, and a husband. Marriage is based on mutual love and respect. The Islamic marriage is a sacred contract between a willing woman and a willing man. There can be no coercion, and each party is free to include its own terms. The bride keeps her family name and her marriage gift from the groom. A Muslim marriage is completed with public festivities reflecting culture and customs. Husbands and wives are protectors of each other. They are equal partners and best friends, remaining faithful to one another. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, treat women well and be kind to them. They are your partners and committed helpers. That's why I like these kind of pamphlets. The husband provides, maintains, protects, and responsibility for the family. He fulfills his duties with consultations and kindness. While the wife is not required to share her wealth and earnings, she may help her husband. Both spouses work together in home, cooking and cleaning, and in raising good children. If couples aren't able to live with one another peacefully, amicable divorce is permitted as a last resort. Mothers are given a priority in the custody of young children. Motherhood. Mothers are accorded a special place of honor and respect in Islam. A man once came to Prophet Muhammad and asked, O Messenger of God, who among the people is most worthy of good companionship? The Prophet replied, your mother. The man then asked, who next? The Prophet said, your mother. Again, the man repeated the question a third time and got the same answer. The man asked once again, who's next? Only then did the Prophet, peace be upon him, reply, your father. This and the other references in the Quran and incidents from the life of the Prophet clearly indicate the elevated status Islam has given mothers. A Muslim sees a mother as an icon of strength and courage, tempered with compassion, kindness, and love. Women's dress modesty. Women's dress and modesty. Muslim women dress in a way that is modest and dignified. The purpose of clothing is not only to protect oneself from the physical elements, but also to protect from immorality and pride. The Islamic concept of dress applies to both woman and man. It sets expectations of moral and respectful interactions between the genders. As a result, both man and woman are liberated from their baser instincts and can focus on high pursuits. Islamic dress takes on many beautiful forms, reflecting the cultural diversity of Muslims from all over the world. How does Islam protect women from violence? Islam means peace, achieved when a person focuses on God, giving her entire mind, heart, and soul to none other than the Creator. All praises to Allah. This liberates from her human subjugation, replaces fear with self-respect, weakness with strength, and conflict with tranquility. God says in the Quran, do not fear human beings, but be in awe of me. Quran 5:44. Islam strongly prohibits oppression or cruelty to any individual, group, or living thing in the universe. God enjoins good conduct towards women from birth to death. Verbal, psychology, emotional, sexual, and physical violence are forbidden, as are false allegations against women, chastity, and honor. Men are further reminded, do not harass women as to make their lives miserable. Quran 65:6. Prophet Muhammad said, only an honorable man treats a woman with honor and integrity. Only a, only a mean, deceitful, and dishonest man humiliates and insults women, referring to physical abuse. Yeah, never hit a woman, y'all. That's yeah. He added, never hit your wives. They are your partners and sincere helpers. He exemplified. I'm gonna just finish this back page up and be done. Referring to physical abuse. He exemplified this by never ever hitting a woman or child. The Prophet guaranteed protection of life, honor, and property of women. And why should you not fight in the cause of God and on behalf of those who, being weak and ill-treated and oppressed man, women, and children whose cry, our Lord, rescue us from these oppressors and raise for us from you one who will protect and help. Quran 475. What do Muslims think about Mary, the mother of Jesus? Muslims respect and admire Mary. Mary, the mother of Prophet Jesus, may the peace and blessings of God be upon them both, is the only woman after whom a chapter of the Quran is named. She was the ideal of womanhood, a pillar of strength and courage, knowledgeable and wise, compassionate and kind. Mary came from the family of Imran, a descendant of Aaron, the brother of Moses. She grew up in the care of uncle Prophet Zachariah, a priest in the temple and the father of John the Baptist. God speaks of Mary in the Quran in the most noble of terms. The angel said, O Mary, God has chosen you and purified you and chosen you above women of all nations. O Mary, God gives you good news of a word from him, whose name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary. Honor in this world and in the hereafter. And one of those brought near to God. He shall speak to people in the infancy and old age, and shall be of the righteous. She said, O my Lord, how shall I have a son when no man has touched me? He said, even so, God creates what he wills. When he decrees a thing, he says to it, be, and it is. Quran 3:42, 45-7. The Quran further tells of Mary. So she convinced him, and she retired with him to a remote place, and the pains of childbirth drove her to the trunk of the palm tree. She cried, Ah, would that I have died before this? Would that I had been a thing forgotten and out of sight? He cried to her from beneath her, do not grieve, for your Lord has provided a stream beneath you, and shake towards yourself the trunk of the palm. It will let fresh dates fall upon you. So eat and drink and cool your eye. And if you see any man say, I have vowed a fast to the source of all mercy, and this day I will enter no talk with any human being. At length, and she brought the baby to her people, carrying him, then said, O Mary, truly a illegitimate thing have you brought. O sister of Aaron, your father was not a man of evil, nor your mother a woman of unchaste. But she pointed to the baby. They said, how can we talk to one who is a child in the cradle? He, the baby Jesus, said, I am indeed the servant of God. He has given me the book and made me a prophet, and he has made a blessing wherever I be, and has enjoined on me prayer and charity as long as I live. He has made me immensely kind to my mother, and no overbearing, not miserable. And peace be on me. The day I was born, the day that I die, and the day I shall raise up to life again. Quran 19:22 through 33. Oh, praises to Allah. That was Discover Islam. Discover Islam, the Muslim woman. So go ahead. Oh, been on this for an hour and 6 minutes. So go ahead and hit the like button, the subscribe button. Again, y'all, we taking this video from 1 share to 1 million shares, and it's all start with you. Tru Hicks on YouTube, Dion's Life on YouTube, Joshua D. Hicks on Facebook. Check us out, y'all. We promote peace, love, unity, community, and family. So if y'all got any books for me to read, please drop them in the chat for me. Inbox me. I did get a couple more books yesterday. However, I'll be reading them probably like tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day, or the next day. So until the next time, y'all. Peace, 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 peace.